This is Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV talking to the one and only Cory Hardrict, who's one of the stars of the upcoming film Die Like a Man. How's it going?
What's up, Wilson Morales, my brother? You know I love
Hey,
you, man. I just want to get that out there. I love you, man. You the greatest, brother.
hey,
You the greatest.
appreciate
You've been
it.
holding me down since day one.
Hey, listen, you working gives me work. That's how we got to
Day one, man.
reciprocate.
That's my man, Wilson Morales. So shout
So
out
you've
to
got this
Wilson.
film. Obviously, yeah, I'm assuming you get projects thrown at you or you audition for. What led
Yeah.
you to say yes to taking on this one?
The passion, I would say, Tommy Oliver, who I'm sure you know, he's a brother of mine. He was producing this movie. He said, I got a great part for you, Cory. I want you to meet the filmmaker. So I met Eric Nazarian, and he came and picked me up. And I was just like, you gonna pick me up today? Take me where? He was like, we gonna go down to LA, we going to South Central, we going to the hood, we going to Venice Beach. We rode around, saw some of the areas, and he was just like, this is where I grew up. I want to do this film. I see you as a character. And I was just like, okay, cool. I'm in. And I love this passion. And I saw some of his work, and I was just like, I love how cinematic that he is. And I was just like, okay, I think this could be something cool to be a part of. You know,
So
yeah.
you play Solo, who's this Fagin-like character. If you know who Fagin is from Oliver Twist, you know, and it's like, is he grooming these individuals to do his bidding so that way he doesn't go out there? How else would you describe Solo? Is he somebody we should be rooting for or not?
No, absolutely not. I would say no. I mean, his misguided information leads this young man to go out to try to find himself when he should be listening to his mother, the mother's instincts, right? But I promised his dad I would come home and look out for him, but it just went another way, when we were in prison together. So he wanted me to come out, look out for his son. And like I say, the movie is about him becoming a boy, becoming a man, and getting out there and earning his stripes and trying to prove that masculinity, in a young man that could, lead him to what he's trying to achieve in his life. But it just all goes south. And I'm there to root him on through this process, but it's not a good look.
I always say, there's got to be something in the character that the actor can relate with. So when you read the script, you read the part of Solo,
Yeah.
what part of him can you relate to?
Father figure, right? I'm a father and I have a son. So it's kind of like I don't give that type of advice to my son. But also I could say the character has power. And I feel like when I'm acting, I'm always in control and I have some form of power. And this guy has this power. It's like he has a stillness about him that's very menacing, that, people respect him, look up to him, and want to do whatever he says. And I have that a little bit.
Yeah, there's a point in the movie I'm like, the Corey's kind of scary. I would hate to be his son in real life when his son gets older and all kids get rebellious at some point. When you be like, and you had this look in your eye, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see that face. I don't want to see that face. Either you're gonna have to instill fear in the boy right now to the point where he knows never talk back to your parent.
Yeah, right.
you know.
Right.
So, have you ever played a villain role? Like, I just like to play villain role because it feels like when you're playing a good role, it's like it's a trope. You got to be the good guy. When you play a villain, you can get
Uh-huh.
let loose.
Right. I get to let loose. I get to use my imagination and take risk and do everything that I would want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like an experiment and throw it in the camera. But like I say, I can't say, Wilson, I want to do a romantic comedy next or something. I want to play some lighter, characters for sure, because people are like, they scared of me, man. Like people run up in the airport, they be scared to talk. And I'm like,
Like,
look at me.
yeah,
I'm a clean cut, nice dude. But
yeah, he
that's,
was like, yeah, don't be wearing no jumpsuit at the airport. Like, look at his hand.
right,
He got a tattoo. Who are you with?
right, right, right.
It's like no, 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 no.
Yeah.
But when you did this movie, and you wonder whether or not a film like this works for the neighborhood. Like back in the days, we didn't want to see gangster films as black audiences because we are like, this is more than us. You know,
Yeah.
for the community that this movie is speaking to, you know, does it shed light to their circumstances?
Yeah, I would say because it's honest, right? You have these movies, like I say, some people do want to shy away from telling these stories, but art imitates life, there's a group of people who still love to see movies like this, and it has that 90s feel good film, like that indie spirited, it's shot really, really well. And there's a community on the West LA, like Venice, Culver City, the West Side, that I feel, and that's been like underrepresented in film. And that's why Eric wanted to make this movie, because it's true to his upbringing on how he was raised in that environment. And I think people will enjoy this movie. Hopefully they will. So
I was working opposite the kid. I've never seen him, but it's a big role for him because he's got to carry it through,
yes,
and I'm sure under your guidance and under Eric's guidance, I don't know his background to see if he's had a lot of work prior to this.
yes.
Maybe not in a lead role, but lead role is a whole different circumstance. What was your dealing with him so that way we as the audience can see that there was a connection why this kid felt he needed to hang with Solo?
You talking about his character, or Miguel? You talking about the Freddy?
Miguel. No, the
Oh,
real
yeah.
the actor. Yeah.
The actor, yes, Miguel Garcia was amazing to work with. Like I say, he has the eyes, he has everything of like star qualities, about him. He's very human. He comes to set one to learn. We just played a lot of ball back and forth, and he's a great listener as well, and we have fun. I enjoy working with him. You know what I'm saying? And he has like this quiet storm about him, and then he can really go to this other place. That's kind of great to see. Just for like a young actor, and I think the sky's the limit for that young man. So I had a good time working with him.
Now, was that a wig you were, or did you call Marlon Wayans to ask him how long you need to
What?
grow your hair?
That was a twist. Those were like extensions in.
Yeah, I was like, he's looking like Marlon Wayans for.
Yeah, I tried to bring the character some other depth, like in how he looked, that feel. I had a teardrop, so I wanted to bring it some different. I didn't want to do like an afro. I said, let me just try something different. Those were extensions, Wilson.
But that's what I was going back with. The teardrop. Sometimes when you see somebody with a teardrop, some people like to assume, I can't make an all assumption, but people like to assume like, oh, that's a gang thing. You just can't wear a teardrop, because then
Right.
depending on where you're at, they're gonna be like, yo, what is that? Who's it with? You know?
Right, right, right. And
You just
sometimes I
can't
didn't
wear
wash it off.
tattoos.
I didn't wash it off going home, and I would just kind of like, wait. I would look in the mirror, like, hold on 1 second. Let me just, you know, let me just put some glasses on, or go get a wipe or something, like, because I can't be when it's cut and we're shooting in East LA. It's just like you got to get back to that freeway on your own. There's no security, nothing. You got
You don't want the wrong people seeing you on the
right.
road.
You
Like,
drive yourself to set.
he will what? Yes, I do. From that side of the block, he on our territory.
Wilson, the funny thing about it is we were filming, and the real side, the real gangsters pulled up one day, tried to tax the set, like,
Really?
yeah, and you know how they get, man. They see cameras and everything, like, what they doing over here, just like the ignorance that comes with it, and they just want to be, at the end of the day, want to be a part of it. But that kind of held it up for a little bit, and those guys, those were the real gangsters. So it was kind of cool in a way, because nothing got violent, but it was a fear that you said, okay, we got to film the rest of the day. Let me try to use it, right? Because it could have went left that day. I
Now,
remember.
you've done your share of independent films, and which is good because it gives you time and as an actor to grow, to stretch out and so forth. So when you're working with Eric on this one, is there anything you got from his direction? And although you've done a crazy amount of projects, TVs, films, that you got from his direction that may say, okay, maybe this is something new. Maybe I can try this on my next project, whatever it may be.
Just the experience. I feel like indies to me is just like a playground where you can, get everything out there that studio films don't allow you to. Studio films are different. You know what I'm saying? Indies, you can breathe a little more and try new things. And it's just like practice to me. I get the practice at a high level, and, prepares me for when I do get, in that studio space. I'll know how to like turn it up, scale it down. So it's like a big class to me. It's like a big acting class, and I enjoy it. But studio films is, it's coming. So I'm excited about my future. So
You know,
yeah.
I know All American Homecoming is gone. I'm thinking maybe they could have bring you back to All American for at least a cameo or something, a recruiter. Like Corey, I can get you a check. talk to an NK, be like, yo, a little episode on Found could help me out.
Man, no, I love NK. Shout out to NK. She's doing great.
you
So,
know,
yeah, I'm open for sure. If they need me, I'm here.
so
I would love to.
so with the work you've done, and obviously, last year was a big year for you. You had the Tyler Perry film that got seen by a lot of people. So when you
Right.
get that visibility and a lot of people see your work, does that change whether it's you or your team as far as the roles they're coming at you or that you want to go for?
Um, Well, far as roles that I want to go for, I want to do things like I kind of want to do films now that matters. Like every film I do from here on out has to matter to me as an artist. It matters to me for like the trajectory of where I want to go. I got to feel that power in the role. You know what I'm saying? Not taken away from any roles that I've done because it's all been a learning curve for me. But I want to make sure I'm elevating with each role and I'm, leaving and lasting like an everlasting impact. So those are the roles I want to do. Like I feel like I practiced enough, I've had a fun, I've done all that, but now I'm ready because I know from a skill set standpoint, I'm prepared and I'm ready for it. So
What are you more accustomed to that you want to do that based on because you've done both? Do you want to do another TV series knowing it's going to take a lot out of your time, or do you just want to do a film where you can say, okay, I can shoot for 2 weeks to a month?
Good work is good work. It just depends on the script and the material and who's a part of the project. I just want to work with great people. I want to work with the greatest filmmakers, the greatest producers that's out there. Just get in front of those people and just really, see what I could do, on a bigger, like I'm just on a big stage. Not that I haven't been on a big stage, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to, I feel like I'm ready for that, Wilson. I mean, you know what I mean? I want to do the superhero movies. Like, I love everything I'm seeing like right now with Sinners, and Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. So I'm really proud of those guys. Like I just definitely want to do films like of that magnitude, superhero movies, biopics, action thrillers. I just want to do it all.
Or even
Lead
sports. So
man.
listen, you threw out the first pitch last year, like he not that old, get him a contract. You from Chicago, talk to MJ. It's like, you threw out that first pitch. It was like he didn't mess it up like Stephen A.
No, never that. No. I'm an athlete. You know what I'm saying? I play sports in a while, but I can get over the mound. I'm not going to embarrass myself in my city like that, Wilson.
Take
Hell
it
no.
back, but let's be real now. You did have to practice a bit because we all say we athletes, but when you are under pressure and everybody's watching you,
Well,
just like when people
listen,
say they can sing and they do the national anthem, I'm like,
I didn't practice on the mound. That's different getting on the mound and practicing on the side. Because when you get on the mound, it goes down. So it's kind of like you got to put an extra thing on it so it can kind of levitate a little longer and hit the glove. So that was different. So I just wanted to make it over the mound, and it looks easier than what it actually is. Like for that first pitch, and you only get one.
You only get one
You
shot.
only get one.
You get
You
one
only
shot. You
get
mess that up, you're like, something funny enough. You go to YouTube, you go like, uh, um, you know, this is we the top 10 mess ups.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you got
right.
this thing done. At the end of the day, going back to Die Like a Man, as we wrap up, all these products that's out there that's on TV, streaming, or in theaters. What's a
Right.
good reason for people to see Die Like a Man?
It's a feel good 90s movie. It's a lot of life lessons. There's some messaging in there. And it's actually, a great film. And it takes you back to like Los Angeles in the 90s, I would say. And it's shot really well by my brother Eric. And I'm excited for people to see his work. And I think it's going to be a slow burn on the streaming platform, Apple TV. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
Hey, Corey, congrats on the role. Congrats on the film. Obviously, like I said, you help elevate others with these filmmakers and the talent. Obviously, you give us as a press work so that way we can keep talking about, the rise. So keep it going. I got you. Wherever you're at, I think you're home. Take care.
Yeah.
Stay safe. We'll talk
Thank you,
down the
Wilson.
road.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Wilson.